Boom. What's up? All right, so it's been a while. I'm going to cover the Keto Blueprint and I'm going to upgrade it. So a while back, I did an entire video series. I think it was like 20 different videos covering my progress through ketogenesis and the athletic version of it. So I've been all over the map. I've been, you name it, since then. I've been consulting with many experts and finding the error of my ways when I was doing it earlier and what I could do to course correct and how to optimize it now. So this is in a sense me going back what I would be doing. Okay, so I'm gonna try to keep these videos as short as possible, but there's so much to cover and I'm so excited to share all this with you because this is pretty much your full steadfast route through keto successfully because I've done it. So first off, good thing to do is hire a coach. I want to let you know that I'm not coaching anyone, so I'm going to mention at the end a lot of amazing resources because the best way to do it, honestly, is to get a coach. Me being a health expert, a nutritionist, and everything, one second, for over a decade now, I failed 3 times getting into keto. I was too high on protein, actually. I was eating too many vegetables at the same time. And I wasn't too high on protein eating meat. I was too high on protein shakes. Okay, so there's a big difference there. And then I wasn't eating enough. And then at the same point, I was like, what was the other one? I just couldn't get in, okay? I couldn't get above a 0.5 or a 0.6 millimolar reading until, honestly, one day, just January 1st it was, I just stuck it out. I was like, bam, I'm gonna kill keto, no matter what that means. And sure enough, I got in great. I got in within a week. I was training a little bit out of control at the same time, not knowing what I know now. But, okay, so where I'm at now, I'm eating 300 plus grams of carbs. My carbs range anywhere from 30 to 50% of my diet, depending on what kind of training I'm doing. Okay, so my brain function and clarity has felt better than ever. And if you can see me, if you go back and watch on the books and you see how I looked then and how I look now, I was quite sickly looking, a little bit stressed, I would say. Okay, and although I am stressed now, my aura and my energy is way better. Everything is clicking on the inside because I've gone off of keto and been able to resurrect my kidneys and liver, and really ramp up the healing process so I could earn carbs. That was the whole goal of me going into keto, was to 1, figure out brain function, and 2, earn carbs. Because at the same time is like an abusive relationship with carbs, and we'll cover that. So the reasons that I really liked keto was 1, brain function. Boom, it was huge, okay? Obviously the added benefit of a little vanity and getting lean was another reason. So yeah, definitely wanted to jump on that because I was gonna get lean, but big one was brain function. So I had come from a past of rampant abuse of steroids and bodybuilding. Okay, so I had steroids and carbs and steroids and carbs. I was eating 6,000-7,000 calories a day sometimes and really just kind of torching my system. So my liver was shot, I would say. Well, no, it wasn't. In fact, when I went into the emergency room after one of my shows, and this is a long story, if you guys want to know, I'll fill you in later, overdosed on diuretics at the same time. So I was in the ER and they tested my liver and I had been on quite a bit of gear, not as much as you would think, but at the same time, quite a bit. And I don't know what you would think, but they said that my liver came back looking a little bit funky because of, they asked if I had been drinking and the answer, no, I had never drank back then until recently. So moving forward, when I got my blood and labs tested, lastly, I was massively stressed. I had kind of pushed keto too far. I was still going into keto because I really enjoyed the brain function because the amount of clarity that I had observed in keto, I had never observed before. And interesting, even with having 300 grams of carbs now, it's still there. It's just because I've earned the right and the use of the correct carbs for my system. And so that's what's amazing here is I'm going to help you guys nail down what's correct for your system, what kind of foods you should be eating for you, which is extremely important. And if I would have known back then, keto would have gone a lot smoother and my gut would have been a lot better. Okay, so nailing down that beautiful brain function was my favorite. So when I was in the ER, I was like, man, I gotta stop all this vanity shit, which I didn't stop all of it, just about 80%, and focus on the brain. So I actually stepped out of bodybuilding. I started coaching MMA fighters right away. And I stepped in and I was like, man, I can help you guys. And I went to Jeremy Horns, who was a legend and still is a legend. And he had some amazing fighters, Josh DeMarcus and Nick Rossborough and Jake Hune. Awesome team right there. And so they kind of went right under my guidance right away. And this is actually prior to keto. I was actually, before I got into keto, I was pretty much all brain function, and I was following Charles Poliquin's route, and I was looking at neurotropic supplements and getting your basics in, like your multivitamin, your zinc, your magnesium, all your minerals, everything you need to function at a basic level. I was really putting that in their systems. Granted, fighters really can't afford that at that time. So anything and everything we could do to get things recovered, we would try to do. Okay, so I was using carbohydrates at the time because getting a fighter to go keto is very expensive at the same time. Because if you're going keto, by the way, you need to spend a lot of money on your food quality. That is the biggest thing that I can stress the most, is food quality needs to be pristine. You are a high functioning motherfucking machine, and you need to treat it as such. Like, think about if you owned a high performance dog, or you owned a high performance car like a Bugatti or a freaking Ferrari, or if you owned a jet, right, a G4, G5, okay? Think about this. How are you gonna treat that jet or that car or that dog? Are you going to give it shitty food? Are you going to put stuff in it that might make it run a little bit less good in a sense? Are you gonna put salt in that tank? Are you gonna piss in that tank? Are you gonna give your dog just shitty food? Are you going to give him raw food? Are you gonna go get grass-fed food? The point is you need to put the best of the best of the best of the best in your system, because that's all that you have. Okay, so now that I'm on the high horse and off the high horse about food quality, make sure you get your food quality. Local, grass-fed, organic doesn't really mean organic anymore, so you really got to ask. Pesticides and GMOs, I believe those are the biggest things that irritate the gut, and those are the things you really need to stay away from most, so we can cover vegetables in a second. Okay, so another good reason is just like cleaning up my diet. Like, I went from rampant abuse, eating pizza and donuts and justifying it as bulking and IIFYM for the most part. And then I went straight into cleaning all that shit up. So I was eating just meat and just fats and the basics, the coconut oil, the butter, the avocados, the beef, the chicken, whatever I could get in that was clean, I was cleaning it up. Now, did I later go into like the demons of Quest Keto and back in the day when they were running that and like all the treats? And yes, absolutely. And I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying you need to really hold off. Okay, so just so you guys know, on food quality and rotating your food, if you guys do not rotate your food, or you eat the same sweeteners or the same things over and over again, you're going to build up an intolerance to your gut. Okay, so you need to rotate through sucralose, monk fruit, xylitol, erythritol, whatever you can to, or what was that other one? Whatever Quest had in their new one, allulose. So rotate through those fibers, right? Don't get a lot of the same one over and over again. Just keep rotating. It's just the same thing if you're eating too many of the same carbs or eating too much sugar. You're guaranteed to get immune reactions after a while of pounding your system with it. Okay, so looking back, if I would have rotated a lot more and stuck to the Poliquin principle of doing such, I would have had a lot better results, okay? My results are phenomenal, by the way. All right, so brain function, cleaning up the diet, and fat adapting, and then keto adapting. I have been carb-based for so long, and I believe that all of us have. Well, most of us have. A lot of people have actually been eating keto if they come from different areas, but the thing is my theory was I've been eating a carb-based diet for so long, so my body should be able to get used to fats and then ketones as a fuel source, because that's going to give my system a break. It's a switch over. It's beautiful. And that's what I love most about it, is your metabolism becomes more flexible. So you can eat fats, you can eat carbs and protein, and your body responds in kind to what you want it to. Okay, so cleaning up the diet, fat adapting, keto adapting, craving controls was huge. Granted, they came back because my minerals and electrolytes and my greens weren't in place. Okay, I did eat a lot of vegetables, a lot of green leafies, a lot of good stuff, but my theory is right now is unless it's grown in your yard, okay, for me personally, unless it's grown in my yard, in my dirt that I created in the soil, because all the soil out there is pretty shitty, then I don't think vegetables are gonna have the full nutrient profile that you need for them to actually communicate with your system optimally. So what I do is I use a powdered greens as much as possible, 3 times a day, and I use really good alkaline water, and then I get my fiber through either a powder, or I might eat a few vegetables here and there. But I try to get most of my vegetables, which 1 scoop of the stuff that I use from Nutridyne is like 50 servings of fruits and vegetables, and it has 9 grams of carbs, so I would still be able to be just fine in keto. Okay, so Craving control, that helped a ton too. Like I was able to fast for 3 days, no problem. It felt amazing the more I would fast. So I was able to, in a sense, create a lot of autophagy for my system and cell regeneration. And interestingly enough, when I did test my telomeres, which is the ends of the strands of your DNA, which tells you how much you're aging biologically, it came in 5 years younger. So I was onto something and still am onto something because I look 5 years younger even when I was starting keto. Okay, so earning the amount of clean carbs and restoring my relationship was a huge one. Okay, like I talked about earlier, pizza, donuts, all that stuff. Now, what I'm eating is rice, all sorts of different kinds of rice. Okay, so one of my power foods that I got my gut tested is wild rice and any kind of that. So I will rotate my rice. I have about 7 different rices that I will eat throughout the week and throughout the month. Okay, so back to getting your gut tested and finding out exactly what's going to benefit you the most. It's called Viome. That's one thing you can do. There's a lot of other ones out there, but the one that I know and have been successful with the most, and I am an ambassador for, is Viome. Okay, they are incredible for my transformation such. So prior to when I started keto, my digestion was never really on point. It was either runny or a little constipated, which at the same time, like runny and constipated is the same thing. It's just you don't have enough solid shit that's all jammed up there and you can't push it out, so all you get is water, okay? So that's really what diarrhea and constipation is. And from keto, I had a lot of hard times really getting through that, even with adjusting fiber levels, adjusting everything. But looking back, because my minerals were off, is really a big reason why I was having digestion issues. So while I was in keto, I stopped, in a sense, taking supplements at the start, which I shouldn't have, and that was a big mistake, okay? So the supplements are my basics, right? This isn't this laundry list of keto cream and ketones, and even though ketones are in there, that all these different supplements are needed to take and get into ketosis, and it's not. This is actually your basics. So what I ended up doing is breakfast, which was coffee and fats and whatnot. In hindsight, I would add 30 grams of protein and I would add 15 grams of non-liver biased carbohydrates from like rice or potato or some kind of vegetable that wouldn't impact the liver and fill the liver stores up. They would just kind of go towards brain function and any muscle glycogen that I needed, okay? So I would start with that concoction, and then I would move into lunch, or I wouldn't eat lunch until about 2, in a sense. And I want you guys to know that even though I had my coffee in the morning and had fats and all that stuff, I broke my fast with that, okay? So the biggest meal and most important meal of the day is breakfast, okay? It's breaking the fast. So no matter if you break it at 8 o'clock in the morning by having some coffee with some fats, or you break it at 9 o'clock at night when you have your first meal and you've been drinking water all day, it's still breaking the fast, okay? So that is the most important meal, because without breakfast you die. Okay, you can fast for as long as your body will pull nutrient stores from itself and then die, or you can do what that was doing, is just like making sure you're getting all your basics in. Okay, so then I would end up moving through fasting, maybe having lunch or dinner, and then jumping into dinner, maybe. Okay, so that was another thing too, is I was pushing my system because I felt so good. And during this time, I want you to know I was doing like 2-a-days. I was doing a hyper strength, and then I was doing hypertrophy in the morning. So I was doing strength, power, neurological, everything in the morning, which is actually an amazing way to train while on keto, because the neurological system is so efficient. The metabolic system is very inefficient, but the cardio, the steady state cardio efficiency is amazing as well. So knowing where and how to train in those is very important as well, and that's something we'll cover in a later video. Okay, so back to the basics of the supplementation that I really suggest that you get prepared to get into keto. So this is the stuff that you need to get in and get ready to get into keto. I will cover 4 or 5 different ways you can get into keto depending on where your lifestyle is and where your nutrient ratio is. But again, I'm going to cover the basics of getting your gut tested. Okay, so Viome, back to that. This has let me know all the optimal foods that I have wanted. And what I can do is I can actually post some pictures on this video. So it lets me what I should indulge in, what my superfoods are, what I should enjoy, what I should minimize, and what I should avoid. Okay, right now I should avoid beef and dark meat chicken and dark meat turkey and a whole bunch of other stuff that I was actually eating a lot of. Okay, But at the same time, like I get to eat as much wild game meat as I want, as much wild rice, bison, buffalo, all that stuff is still on the platter. White meat chicken, which is surprising. I didn't eat very much white meat chicken while I was in keto. It was all heavier, fatty beefs, like a lot of beef. I abused the shit out of Butcher Box. But, you know, whenever I could have bison and rotate, I would do it, but at the same time, like I was a little lazy, right? I did eat a lot of elk, I did eat deer, but at the same time, it wasn't really fatty enough, and so I would have to add exuberant amounts of fats because I was taking in between 3,000 and 5,000 calories because I was training twice a day, and so my fat was, you know, 400 or 500 grams of fat a day, and I was pushing 100 grams of protein, so I was going all over the place. And at the same time, like knowing if I would have had my gut tested, I would have been able to use the foods and rotate the foods more efficiently. So again, rotation is important and high quality food is important. So get your gut tested. That is going to let you know what you can eat. And you don't need to do that now in a sense, or you can do it now, but you don't need to prevent that from jumping into keto, right? So get that done so when you do get it, you can replace the foods or swap out any foods that you need to so you're optimized. Okay, so back to the basics. Okay, minerals and water. All right, so water. This is the most important factor by far, bar none. Water is the most confusing thing in the world, and it makes sense, right? We're all confused. Okay, I drink a gallon of water. Well, guess what? You're dehydrating yourself. I was dehydrating myself doing that as a bodybuilder, okay? So if I'm drinking out of any plastic, it's not good for you. Now, you can take bottled plastic water and filter it and throw it into a structured device and add minerals, and then bottled water would be good for you. But at the same time, if it's been sitting in plastic, it's going to increase hormones that you don't want to be increased and decrease and block certain functions in your system that you don't want. Okay, so we do not want plastic in our lives. This means Tupperware. This means everything. Like Tupperware, don't microwave it, don't store it, don't wrap it in plastic baggies, don't do any of that shit, okay? I had to upgrade my entire life to glass, and I'm so happy I did because that helps balance out my hormones from all the steroid abuse that I had done in the past. Okay, so again, basics, hydration. So you need to filter your water, and you need to add minerals. Those are huge. There's concentrates minerals, you can add salt if you want, but at the same time, you need a full spectrum, okay? So there's concentrates minerals and there's fulvic acid. Those two are probably the two most important supplements that you always need to have on you. Period. Okay, you have to have it. And it's just one of those things. Like if you have a structured device, if you have some kind of awesome filter at home and a remineralizer, then just forget what I'm saying. So obviously that's the goal, and that's my goal, and that's what I'm building to. But at the same time, like you got to do what you can to make sure your water is optimal, because what water is a communication device. Okay, so if you're dehydrated, everything fucking sucks. It's not as good as it could be, and believe it or not, because once you get hydrated, you're like, damn, I felt okay, or maybe I felt shitty, or I felt good, but then you get hydrated, and it's just like, whoa, I just pulled my shit out of the matrix. And so at that point, that's an awesome feeling, okay? So hydration is so important. So another way I'm gonna bring up later is structuring your water. Now, structuring water, you can actually do it by saying you love your water right before you drink it. What structuring does is that actually creates a better communication system with all the minerals in your water and your body. Okay, so your body and your minerals and everything start absorbing more if you structure your water. There's blue bottles, there's crystals, there's all sorts of things you can do to structure your water. A lot of studies on this stuff, and it's very beautiful stuff. But it's important that you get the best, highest quality H2O in your system. Bobby Boucher had it right. That's some high quality H2O, and he was right. Nothing is better than fucking awesome water, period. And if you do drink a lot of good water with a lot of good minerals, all your cravings go away. All of them. Every single one. If you ever crave, you are lacking minerals and hydration. It's crazy. All my clients and myself, I can nail that problem every time if we bring their hydration with mineral content up. Doesn't matter what they're eating or how they're eating, it still will kick out shitty food because your body already senses that it's getting what it needs and it's not searching out everywhere else. Because the thing is, like, we've been programmed, right? So let's say popcorn has, or not popcorn, let's say Kellogg's Corn Flakes has vitamin C, and it has magnesium and a whole bunch of minerals, right? So what I've done is, instead of getting mineralized water, because anything that's coming out of the sink or the tap or even a fridge filter is either non-mineralized, dead, or it's got chlorine in it, so there's nothing good in it. Okay, so at that point, my body's searching for nutrients, so what did I do? I patterned it by going to get cornflakes and getting nutrients there. So my body thinks cornflakes equal minerals minerals and nutrients, which it isn't a bad thing if you're starving and you need something. Cornflakes could actually help. I'm still debating on that because I don't know if it's worth living if all you can eat is cornflakes. Because cornflakes were actually designed to drop your testosterone and stop masturbation. Okay, so it's meant to fuck with your hormones, and therefore all cereal is meant to fuck with your hormones. So at that point, do you want your hormones messed with? You ask yourself that question. I'm not here to tell you yes or no, I'm just giving you the information I have. Okay, so bam, after hydration, we're looking at sleep and meditation, okay? Breathing. Breathing is so important. We actually dehydrate out of our mouth. Breathing out of our mouth is the way we dehydrate. If we keep breathing in and out of our mouth instead of through the nose, guess what? The sympathetic system of like fight or flight all the time, out of the mouth, if you're breathing out of the mouth, is always on. Now, if you can regress and start patterning to breathe out of your nose, then the parasympathetic system has a better chance of just kicking on and making sure you stay relaxed and calm. Okay, so your meditation, in a sense, isn't this like I need to clear my mind and, process thoughts, and it's okay if it gets there, but ideally what you want to do is focus on that breathing first, okay? So you're going to sit there, breathe into the diaphragm, and then breathe out of the diaphragm, okay? That's the whole goal. And if you don't understand what breathing into the diaphragm is, a lot of people are breathing into their chest, which is also causing stress, okay? So if you can, right? So see the difference is, if you can, think about putting the breath into your belly to balance out that upper lower, and then find the middle. Okay, so the biggest thing is the diaphragm is the biggest muscle in your body, and it's connected to everything. So if you can train that and get in touch with that, you're going to be on point no matter what. So it comes back to breath and meditation. After hydration, that is a huge key. Okay, so 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon, and 10 minutes in the evening. If you cannot create that time for yourself, you must. Anyone can create 10 minutes 3 times a day for themselves. Anyone. This is so you focus on your breath. Without breath, you die. There's no life without breath, right? So the point is, what are you doing? You should be focusing on how you're breathing to optimize your system. Therefore, breathing through your nose into your diaphragm, in and out and in and out. Training your breathing is going to massively impact every single result in a positive direction, right? So what I'm covering is the basics. Now, I'm just gonna go off on a tangent here and kind of quote Michael Jordan. Everything rises from the basics. Everything rises from the fundamentals is what he says, right? So he practices free throws, doing his jump shot, his fucking turnaround over and 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 over. Okay, Tiger Woods said the same thing. Putt, 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 and fucking putt. Okay, Bruce Lee said, I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks, but the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, right? Your basics are most important, so I'm just gonna hammer that home because if I had me right now, I would hammer it home to myself because it's so important that I do not want to forget it on any level of diet, especially ketosis, because hydration and electrolytes and minerals and sleep and meditation are the first things to tank if keto isn't on point with all that stuff, okay? So, moving on, we're looking at electrolytes. Obviously, that's the same thing as minerals, okay? There's certain electrolytes you probably need more of, and that's potassium and sodium, and for women, calcium, okay? So just find out your own balances, in a sense. Kind of try to eat intuitively of what feels good for you, okay? You can't really overdose on minerals if you're getting the highest quality. The biggest problem people have is getting shitty minerals. They just go to their local store, their like even a grocery store, and they go for the cheap version of magnesium or the cheap version of anything else. So no, we don't want that. You don't need to take exuberant amounts, and you don't need to spend $500-600 a month on your supplements. It needs to be at least $150 on your supplements. Think of them as nutritionally dense food items, because rotating back, if we look at the full plant spectrum of any vegetable out there, unless it was grown in perfect soil by yourself in the right climate and the right environment, or by somebody else you trust, it's not getting the full nutrient profile. So you need to supplement these things because we simply cannot get them from the food we eat. Okay, plain and simple. Okay, so moving on. Fish oil. Our brain is 80% fish oil, is actually what I heard on a podcast the other day. If you're not crushing omega-3s and fish oil, and if you're a vegetarian, then go for the algae-based sources at the same time. But you need fish oil. We all need fish oil, like massively. So what I like to do is I like to get 30% of my fats in keto from omega-3s and fish oil, basically. Krill oil, fish oil, whatever you want. I would buy the liquid, a very high quality liquid, and take a teaspoon at a time. And it doesn't taste bad. And in fact, the reason it tastes bad is probably because you're used to eating really sweet and hyper palatable foods. Okay, so once you start learning to eat what is good for you, it will change everything in your system to where that's what you will crave. Okay, so fish oil, huge, huge, huge. It's gonna majorly impact brain function, how you burn fat, how moldable and flexible your cell walls are so they can absorb nutrients, and all sorts of amazing, amazing stuff. So fish oil, fish oil, fish oil, fish oil. Okay, greens. Here we go. So my version, like I talked about earlier, I like to take a greens powder 3 times a day. Okay, so greens are just epic. They give you every micronutrient and you possibly need, and so getting enough of them, in a sense, I don't think as a human nation, including myself, have been eating enough since I've grown up, because I grew up on ramen noodles, and you know, my mom tried to get good vegetables in, but we didn't know what we did now of like, yeah, everything conventional is probably fucking you up, right? Because it's all GMO, it's all pesticide ridden, and it's really digging into your system and creating problems in the gut. The only reason that I'm having good gut function now is not because I've cleaned up all my foods, it's because I cut out all sources of weird vegetables that I don't trust. Okay, like I said, if I don't find someone or grow it myself, I don't eat them. So there are vegetables I do eat, but I know the people who have created them, and I know the soil, and they're awesome people. Same thing with anything, right? Anything plant-based, you got to make sure that the nutrient profile is there. So greens, I do that 3 times a day, and I take it with my meals, right? So first thing in the morning, I actually like to start alkalized first thing in the morning, okay? So bam, I do 20 ounces of water, whether that involves, 32 ounces of alkaline, structured, mineralized water every morning. That's the first thing down my system, and believe it or not, it feels like you're crushing coffee. The clarity that comes right through that is like boom, okay? So then you can add coffee to that. Now make sure your coffee is pesticide free and organic. It's got to be that way, or else you will get jitters, you will get issues, okay? If you're getting jitters or anything from your coffee, it's because it's got shit in it, okay? So really, really look at your sources. There's some good ones out there, and I can tag some if I want, but it'll take a lot of time. So again, greens, everything's good. So now, a good multivitamin, and that includes like magnesium, zinc, and all that good stuff is a good start, okay? So magnesium, zinc, a really good multi, and vitamin D, okay? Ideally, go get it in the sun. If you can spend 20 minutes or even 10 minutes of your meditation in sunlight, perhaps naked with your balls out, or if you're a woman, whatever you wanna do, but testosterone actually gets increased by like 400% if you got his balls out in the sun. So find a place where your guys are private, or maybe you don't live in a foreign country and they don't give a fuck, so get your balls in the sun in a sense and increase that testosterone, but it also increases vitamin D. Now, vitamin D activates everything in your system. If your vitamin D levels suck, your whole system's gonna suck. I found that out the hard way until one of my good friends, Cassim, was like, get your vitamin D up and see what happens, because like my panels were wrecked, like it was pretty awful, and he's like, get your vitamin D up. So I started crushing vitamin D and magnesium, because I understood those are 2 things that really take to function each other, and bam, a lot of stuff started turning around. Now I seriously make sure I spend at least 20 minutes in the day, balls out, getting my sun all the time. Okay, so those ones are covered. Good multivitamin. Make sure, like, what I can do is I can put a link, or you guys can PM me. I get practitioner grade account. I have a practitioner grade account, and it's all med grade supplements, and you can go shopping all you want. You get a 20% discount. Yes, I make another 10%, but that's what we get because I'm awesome and I got all my certifications. Okay, but they're amazing, amazing supplements, guys. Since I've started taking these and my clients have started taking these, it's a world of difference of the absorption that you're getting. And also, we're doing a lot of other stuff. And I do need to mention HCl. Betaine HCl is amazing. So HCl in your stomach is the stuff that helps process and start digesting, in a sense, hydrochloric acid, right? So most of us are just completely depleted and don't have enough of it because stress, travel, any bad food, a lot of dairy, all that stuff is going to actually just destroy your HCl. So taking a good HCl, boom, right with your meal, right in the middle of your meal is the perfect thing to do. So now with all your vitamins and with everything else, the perfect place to take them is during your meal. So what I'll do is I'll eat like a quarter of my meal, I'll take a quarter of my vitamins, I'll eat another quarter, take a quarter, eat a quarter, take a quarter, and I'm done. Okay, so it sounds like a lot of work, right? But it's not. This is for you. This is the work that you need to focus on yourself, right? This is all going to you. If you completely construct yourself and follow these patterns and these basics, you're going to dominate everything in life. And yeah, it might be hard at first to create that space for you to work on you and you to eat the way you need to eat with no stress and sleep and meditate and breathe and hydrate. Then you're going to dominate, okay? Plain and simple. You're going to kill it. Okay, so now I'm going to throw in some designer supplements. Okay, one thing that massively helped me was ketones and MCT oil. Okay, so I lived off of those because I was training so much. I used them as brain function performance, never as a fat loss goal, never as this other anything else but brain performance. Now, there's a lot of studies and a lot of stuff out there showing that they're doing amazing things, but I'm coming from a place of brain performance and glucose utilization as well. So since I was hyper focused on this brain, not this brain, I would always knock down ketones. So the best products out there right now, there's a lot of them. I mean, I started when it first came out, there was one, and that was Keto Con, and then Prove It, and then Ketogenics, and then went up from there, right? When I actually did FitCon, we had all three of the big companies in one location, and there was almost a fight. It was so fun, man. All right, so, man, competition's crazy. Always leads to war, doesn't it? All right, so, yeah, man, speaking of that, I'll go on a real quick tangent of something that hit me yesterday. Is like, there's no right or wrong, but the competition should be held within ourselves. I don't think at any point the competition should come to the point where we would need to take someone else's life. Because competition does lead to war, and competition in the cage and on the field and everything like that, that's fine and dandy. That's a choice, but at the same time, like, to rise up and have such competition within yourself to be able to take somebody else out because of that, man, that's a very interesting something I have to really dig into. So, I've been part of the Marine Corps. I've been around a lot of death in a sense. I didn't serve over in the desert, but I've been around that energy, and just recently as well. So, something I really want to dig into. And I'm down, man. I love my veteran homies. Like, they're so amazing. They sacrifice so fucking much, and it's so cool to be able to help tune their brains into, man. Yeah, awesome. They deserve it. They deserve it. They deserve it. They deserve it. And they don't really get taken care of out here, so fuck, man, they deserve it. All right, so MCT oil and ketones. Now, one of the best MCT oil places that you can get right now, the MCT oil powder, is Complete Wellness. Now, they have one of the best. Now, Keto Sports has a couple good ones that are liquid, and they got some really cool designer stuff, but it's not necessary, okay? Ketones and MCT oil, they work with each other. That's why there was a patent designed by Dominic D'Agostino. It's because the effect was a lot better with MCT oil, because in a sense, you get a double stage effect. MCT raises ketones, you get ketones. So in a sense, you're kind of like going through the same circuit. Now, at the same time, the Human Garage now has a supplement, and they have it, and it's butyrate. So butyrate is the precursor for ketones in a sense. So you can get the MCT, the butyrate, and the ketones, and that's kind of like the full trifecta. They do have a couple ketones in their product, but at the same time, like the trifecta, bam, bam, bam. So Complete Wellness for your MCT, and honestly, greens if you don't want to go through a practitioner like myself. Okay, you can get a lot of this stuff on Amazon too, but greens. Now, Drew has designed an amazing greens with a little bit of my help, but at the same time, we put MCT oil powder in the greens because you need the fats for the fat-soluble vitamins, okay? So you get a little bit of boost and you get a little absorption power by taking those specific greens. That's why we're formulated that way. Now, the MCT oil powder he has an unsweetened vanilla, which is bomb, okay? And he's actually cleaning it up so it's even tighter. So he's really quality focused, and the distributor and manufacturer that I know is with him, and they're all killing it. They're doing a really good job on bringing very high quality stuff, and I believe they're releasing an electrolyte supplement or a mineral supplement very soon. So that will be another one you want to jump on stat. Okay, so that being said, resources for coaching. Okay, so those are the basically supplement companies. I think Prove It still has one of the best ketones, because right now, okay, so there's DLBHB from what I understand, and there's an RBHB polymer. So no, I don't think either one is better than the other, but I think it's a good idea to have both, or a rotate. Okay, so the Keto Max, from what I understand, is an RBHB polymer, and the Keto OS, and then everyone else is doing a DL, because Prove It is the only one who has the license to do the R. Okay, so they both need to be taken. So go get Keto Con, or go get I really don't like the old versions of the 3.0 and the orange anymore. I only like the Max, so I would suggest going to like Perfect Keto. I think Complete Wellness is coming out with one, or Keto Con, anything that they've been kind of producing a long time. Even Ketogenics is a good brand to jump on as well. So any of those are good to go. So with the R though, you get the Max from Prove It. But the thing is, like, half a pack, guys. You don't need to crush 3 packs a day. You don't need to do anything like that. Just half a pack. Now, I obviously have a product called Lucid that has ketones and neurotropics in. Now, it is completely unnecessary as a basic. Okay, you do not need it, but it does take you to superhero status quite quickly. But if you take Lucid and you do not get your hydration, you do not get your electrolytes, and you do not get your basics in line, Lucid will actually do damage. In a sense, right? It will make sure you're not, it's causing things in your system that are not going to function optimally if you do not have the nutrients to create it naturally. Okay, if you're not taking in exogenous nutrients to make sure those actions can happen, like sodium, magnesium, all that good stuff, like the zinc and the multivitamin, the fish oil, like, you're gonna be in a hard place. Any supplement, any pre-workout, any mind bender is going to do that to your system. It's gonna require minerals and hydration to make those mechanisms of action happen, and B vitamins and all that good stuff. Another one you wanna bring in is a very, very active form of B vitamins. So active B vitamins, active. There's Pure Genomics, and that's actually on Amazon, Pure Genomics, Genomick or MICS, and that is on Amazon. So you can get that. It's a complete active B vitamin, and it's one of the best, and that's gonna make sure there's a lot of good stuff going on in your system, because unless you're eating liver and organ meat, you're not getting your B vitamins. So you can not take the supplement and you can eat organ and liver meat, which is good. I mean, I love liver, and I give Hero a liver and bison twice a day, or some elk like that. I feed him raw like I feed myself. And the B vitamin content, I can feel the difference. Like, the absorption that I get from it is incredible. Okay, so taking your vitamins, make sure you take them breakfast, lunch, and dinner in between your meals, okay? Bite, swallow your vitamins. So in a sense, the nutrients are coming where they were supposed to, okay? So one thing I would really come roll back to, and I kind of forgot, is chew your food. Chew it till it's liquid. If you do not chew your food, the nutrients cannot escape. There's big old clumps that sit in your system. You get constipated, you get diarrhea, and it has issues, okay? It can create intestinal permeability at the same time. Lots of discomfort, so make sure you chew your food. It's simple as that. And that will also increase the quality of how good you think your food is, okay? If you have to chew it till it's liquid, there's a lot of food you're gonna be like, yeah, that wasn't a good choice. Okay, I've had a lot of shitty meats that I'm like, yep, I didn't want to chew that. And one was from Chipotle, man, and sorry if I ruined Chipotle for people, but my level of meat quality is through the fucking roof. Okay, so resources for coaching. We're going to wrap this shit up, and then I'm going to continue down the road on how to get in and all that good stuff. So Complete Wellness and Fit to Fat to Fit Keto. He's kind of the one that I would go to if you're starting keto, if you're getting in, or if you kind of just tattled around in it, or you've been really interested in it, then perfect place to start. He's got a couple Facebook groups with phenomenal coaches that have tons of empathy. They're going to really guide you through the process and make sure you do it for you, which is amazing. Okay, so the next one would be Keto Games. Now, Keto Games has been around forever. Lewis has done it for, he's probably going on 50 years in keto. Tyler Cartwright, he has lost literally like 300 fucking pounds in keto, and maybe more now. And then the whole team there is just a bunch of brilliant researchers and applicators. So if you're looking to kill it in keto, get an athletic keto, at the same time maybe lose a shitload of weight, like 100 pounds plus, Complete Wellness is good for some of those things, but Keto Games has really got their system hammered out. They do boot camps, they do groups, they do private training, anything you need, they're awesome for. Okay, so next is Keto Savage and Keto Counterculture, which actually they're putting on Keto Con, and that's coming up on the 13th through the 15th of June. So make sure you go check everything there out, and you're gonna get a ton of awesome education, a ton of awesome information on everything keto. Okay, so awesome environment if you really want to get into keto, and they're going to pretty much have everything there that you need, including all these basics that you can go pick up, in a sense, at a very discounted rate. So go get stocked up, get educated, and get knowledge about keto. Now, there's a ton of other places you can go to, so don't worry if you can't make it there, okay? So Keto Counterculture on Instagram, Keto Savage, and Keto Con, these guys are for like the hyper athletes, the really in shape. Yes, they handle all clients, don't get me wrong, but they're really good. I mean, freaking Keto Counterculture, I'm going to use their Instagram names, and Keto Savage, like, they're beasts, man. They're fucking beasts. And, like, he's doing an all-meat diet, and I think the other one did too. So it's, like, dope, okay? I'm not going to use their names because I want you guys to just remember those. The Keto Counterculture and Keto Savage, okay? They're both awesome people, but at the same time, just remember that and go follow them on Instagram. Okay, so The Charlie Foundation, if you are diseased or have brain issues or have diabetes or anything like that, the Charlie Foundation is a very, very, very good place. Now, if you have diabetes, really, you can go to any one of those above that I listed and bam. So anyone that I'm gonna mention in here, I'm also tagging in this video. So you're gonna see a lot of tags, a lot of name drops in a sense. And so click on those and dive down those paths. Okay, so 40 minutes for the first video. I tried to talk as fast but as clear as possible. Whew. All right, so thank you for tuning in. This is going to be an awesome adventure. We're going to take you on. I get to go over all the mistakes that I made and really clean things up, and hopefully they're going to help you out, which I believe they will. So, and this is non-competitive. I don't think keto is the way to go. I think it's an awesome state to be in if you're ready for it. And, you know, I'm eating 40% of carbs, and I'm enjoying my life, and I have the same brain clarity that I did in keto. So, all right, so some of the things real quick that I'm going over my breathing. I'm actually working on patterning. I actually been taping my mouth shut at night, which amazing. I got some deep fucking sleep and I feel really good. I thought I would wake up and like, oh, nope, I was good to go. It was awesome. What's interesting, if you're actually suffocating, you're actually trying to breathe into your brain. You can actually open up that passage into your diaphragm through your nose at any time, believe it or not, unless you're really stuffed or really allergic. But then at the same time, clean up your gut and get hydrated. And those allergies and that stuff will probably go away. They have for me so far. All right, so that is it. There's 39 minutes and 30 seconds. Peace out. Superhero Maker out. Enjoy some keto. We'll hit you back here in a little bit.